All right, I think we're all back. I think we're all healthy now, aren't we?
Back and healthy, sounding great.
I was about 75% last week. I'm feeling much, much better now. I still don't think all my taste is back yet, though.
No.
Not all the way. Everything is very mild.
What about your bourbon taste? Is that back?
I taste it, but it's not real strong.
Well, maybe that's just, it's a good bourbon.
Very unflavorful.
Well, this bourbon that we're tasting this week is pretty tasteful. I mean, last week we had the that black bottle. What was the Murdoch or what was it called? Pincher?
Punch?
Oh, Puncher's.
Yeah, Puncher's.
Luck or Chance. Puncher's Chance.
Puncher's Chance.
That was
It was very mild, wasn't it?
Well, it was strong. It just wasn't extraordinary.
See, I don't remember. I couldn't taste it.
Yeah, it wasn't extraordinary.
I can't remember.
Nothing really jumped out and said, "Hey, how's it going?" Like this week's, we've got.
It's very
I
dark.
don't know where the hell we got this from. What is it called?
I don't know.
Who bought this?
Paul did.
I did.
We
And
can't- we
it is called
We cannot give him credit, though. It tastes like shit.
Huling Station. Yeah, be careful, guys. Did I pick out a good one?
This one's a good one.
you might
I'm
wanna
not, I'm not
rethink.
complaining.
I can't. I'm not a good judge yet.
Huling Station, very small batch, 100 proof. It's a blend of straight whiskeys. It says it's irrefutably fine. I guess we can't argue with that, can we?
It's irrefutable.
Irrefutably fine.
So what's it say on the back as far as the mix, the blend?
All right, so let's see here. Man, this is an eye damager here, an eye test. It's a blend of straight.
It's small and like in cursive.
Straight, yeah, it is straight bourbon whiskey. 52% corn, 44% rye, 4% malted barley, and then a straight wheat whiskey, which is 83 wheat, 12 corn. Yikes! I'm getting a headache now. I think it's two. It's two. It's a wheat whiskey and a bourbon whiskey. 44% rye. Wow, that's.
Yeah. Well, that's just one of
that's just one of the whiskeys.
Well, there's only two.
There's two in there.
It's a blend of two.
It's a blend of two. So
of a rye and a wheat.
Correct. Yep.
Well, a bourbon and a wheat. It's not technically a rye because 52% corn, but still, it's a high rye.
Rye. So
but that's still a bourbon.
It's a high rye.
Still a bourbon.
But the second one, I believe, is not.
It's a wheat whiskey. It's 83 or 283, I think.
Very
wheat.
high wheat.
Yeah,
What is
good.
Wheat.
So in other words, they took something that's probably very peppery, right? High rye, peppery bourbon, and tried to smooth it. Yeah, mellowed it out with a wheat whiskey, which you guys always say tastes like bread. So
I taste none of that.
No.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of a blend, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I don't taste any bread in this, but
yeah.
yes, there are some whiskeys out there that taste like bread. I don't know if they're necessarily wheat whiskeys.
Yeah, and you know what? And I've yet to kind of put my finger on exactly what that taste is, but Jeff recognizes it. I recognize it as a turnoff, and you recognize it as, hey, Mikey.
Yeah, it was.
I like it.
Life cereal.
The one we
Life
talked
cereal
about tasted
kind of,
like life cereal, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
you can have it.
Anyway, this is a good one. I like this one tonight.
Yeah, it's nice. It's tasty.
Yeah, it's a Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know if they distill it. I think they procure some whiskeys and then they blend. That's what they do.
I tell you what, it's even better on a cube. I think we're finding that pretty consistently, though.
Well,
that they're better on a cube than they are.
We need to change our language here. I mean, it's technically a sphere.
Sphere.
Yes, it's a
So what are we going to call them? Balls of ice?
Ball.
Hey,
give me a bowl.
Give me a bowl.
Yeah. Did you
I mean,
say
what's
that when
better?
you had a bar, though?
I want a cube.
Can I get a
do you have a
bowl?
cube? And then that's good. But then, do you have a sphere?
Hey, Bartender, can I get
Just
a
like that.
bowl?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, I would
Kinda
like a
fit.
bourbon.
I got a pair of bowls
I would like
for
a
you right
bourbon
here.
with a spear.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, that is weird.
Anyway,
Just say cube.
so,
It's a nice cube
this,
in the shape of a
bourbon, which I still don't
sphere.
know the name of it.
Huling.
Huling Station.
Huling, Huling, Huling Station. And
Yes.
what is the
Memphis.
story behind Huling Station?
Probably it says it's a family deal, so I guess we could look up Huling family bourbon.
Maybe eventually.
Huling, yeah, maybe someday. When we, have somebody that can, run the board, we would find out what Huling is. But that's okay.
Yeah,
It's not really necessary. Anyway,
Speaking of running the board, I tell you what, who had a good run was the Cincinnati Bengals.
they had a
They
good
did.
run.
Who would have thought they would have rung the bell so loud to where they would have scored they were ahead the majority of the game.
Yeah.
And at the last minute and a half to lose. And by the way, the last play that the Cincinnati Bengals have, they were offsides.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, the Rams were?
The
Is
Rams
that the one
were.
where Aaron Donald was like way over the ball?
Well, yeah, his head.
He
was lined up in the.
He lined up in the neutral zone.
Yeah, he lined up in the neutral zone. That's offsides.
Yeah, you can't really. I guess you could go back and look for all those.
Well,
things,
right,
but,
right. You can. I mean, they say
it's supposed to be the Super Bowl. I mean, you need to be even the umpires and referees. This is the Super Bowl. You bring your most observant referees,
right?
Senior referees, guys that are calling it, guys that are quick. They know the rules.
Yeah, they say losers only bitch about the refs, so I'm not really going to. But there's been a lot of chatter and. The professional media guys complaining about the officiating of that game.
So of that game,
yeah. Then they tie it into the whole year that there was a lot of bad stuff all year, but this game was bad. It was very inconsistent. Where Higgins grabbed the guy,
the face mask,
that didn't get called.
No.
A lot of shit didn't get called all game.
I think
the last
that
minute,
there should be a veto, so to speak. I don't know if veto is the correct word, but I think that the folks that are up in the stands, the guys looking at the video feeds,
right.
And if they see something like that the refs don't, I'm thinking, hey man, look. Box upstairs says that this is a flag. It's obviously it was a total face mask. And they should have called it. And
I don't disagree with that. I think you're right. I think the important thing is making sure the right call is made. It's not about well, on the field it was this and on the field it was that.
This isn't the 1930s where they're kind of like, we don't know. It could have happened. It could have not happened. We don't know.
Well, I think what they're afraid of is the game turning into a 6-hour game, right? If you start having the ability to review every play.
Yeah, but that one.
Well, I know, but how do you say, okay, we need to review this one?
Right.
Well, they have a certain amount of time to do it.
Well,
they have until the ball snaps.
Well, they have 25 seconds, right?
Well, no. But
if you're in a hurry-up offense, boom, you have 10 seconds.
That's, you know what? That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
They've got time. And they did have time. They fucking showed that play 2 or 3 times before the ball snapped.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, so what's the rule? At the end of the game, nobody can throw a challenge flag
under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes, right? And then it's automatically reviewed upstairs. In those situations, there's been plenty of times when somebody tries to, they run up to the line because they know it was, controversial,
right.
and they try to run a play, and the official comes, running in, blowing whistles like crazy. So there is time.
Yeah,
right.
I think there is time to look at things all game long.
I want to hit pause and jump back in time just a few moments. And jump back to the Huling station. Our producer pulled up some stuff. So I want to mention that when I was first sampling these bourbons, I kind of migrated over to the wheat bourbons. They just seemed a little smoother, less
caustic.
Yeah, they were just easier to take. To taste.
Okay.
And that's what the Huling station has done. They've kind of taken a blend of the best of the both and put them together. They took an extremely high wheat, and they said they took a sweet softness of our Huling station straight wheat whiskey and blend it with the the bold warmth and complexity of a Huling station straight bourbon to create something unique. And our Huling Station blend is warm, inviting, and brings others together. Kumbaya. The perfect harmony between the spicy whiskeys, characteristic of the pre-prohibition age, and the sweeter drams favored by many modern whiskeys. It's interesting that they put up the characteristic of the pre-prohibition times. It's kind of like
spicy.
Is that like a step
rye?
away from the bathtub bourbons that they had out there?
It was like super caustic back then.
Yeah, it's just like gut rot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but if they also say it's the spiciness, right? So that would imply then that the trend pre-prohibition was high rye bourbons, right? Because that's what their mash bill is, a high rye bourbon.
Well, but they also had the wheat, so they had the wheat whiskeys and the bourbons.
Right,
so,
but they're referring to the spicy was pre-prohibition. The
correct.
wheat was post, I guess.
So Huling Station,
but that shit was harsh back in the day.
Oh man,
I was just like,
I cured cancer
drinking out of that was a medicine.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc.
Oh, it says it's creamy.
Hey, this is the first time we've had the Huling station, and so it's interesting how they tune into the 100 proof, where I guess there's a tool that measures how much alcohol's in there.
It is. Oh yeah, you can buy
this
it.
one's 50-50, man, right down the line between these two bourbons.
Yeah, that's how you test.
These
Like
bourbon and whiskey.
Like home brewers, they'll have a little measures.
Caliper.
Yeah, it's a caliper to
Breathalyzer.
do the thickness. Yes. And latency.
Yeah, that's what they do. They all stand around the tasting, and they're like, yeah, that's 0.0.
If I drink one of these, I
your
should be at
It's a
0.2.
breathalyzer.
Well, anyway, so I thumbs
Can you,
up.
scroll down, Mr. Producer, just for a second. I want to see what the tasting notes.
Taste the whiskey life.
All right, so it says slight wisp of warm baking spices on the nose, complemented by a hint of smoky oak, a creamy, warmed honey sweetness with short bursts of. Wow, this is getting a little
Creamy.
I know.
Kind of sensual.
Getting a little very sensual. I
And
can't finish.
warmed
The finish
honey.
is lingering.
Oh,
and
I love
peppery.
that with short bursts of
Yeah.
pleasing
With
grassy
another
note.
appearance by smoked oak to close it out. Man, that sounds like a love-making session.
God.
Creamy warmed honey.
What's going on with this? That was a little too vivid.
Yeah, warmed honey with short bursts.
With a finish. With a happy, happy finish.
Jeez.
Okay, really. I didn't need the sound effects.
What?
Whatever you're doing over there.
Oh.
All right, anyway, we can move on from the bourbon. I actually think the more I drink it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Tastes
It's a
great
really-
with the little block of ice in there. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, the sphere.
The sphere.
Okay,
You know-
all right, so
were we going to dump back at it? Because I was going to take us completely off
right,
the subject.
go for it.
I had to take off today, and I had to take my me poppy to the VA. We get a procedure, or whatever. And when I got back, I'm trying to look for this. When I got back, my mom received a package. Her mother's sister had passed away, and so she received a package of a bunch of photos.
Oh, nudes?
Really?
Wow.
Hey, guys, gather around.
Well, why would Sean be talking about it?
Gather around. I got some family nudes.
They're all black and white.
Yeah, black and white old nudes from my great-great-grandmother.
Huge
that's
bush.
very disturbing. All right. So,
Really?
so first of all, I got to share with you. I've never met my grandfather.
So that'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Not like you know him.
I know.
no. So,
Especially nudes of your grandfather.
he died in a motorcycle accident when she was like 6.
You're foul.
I know.
All right.
Now he's
So what?
feel shitty.
But what is kind of cool is that he was in the Navy. He was a CB in the Navy, and we received like his honorable discharge papers and some news clippings and some photos, some really nice photos of him doing things in the Navy.
Right.
I mean, there's
on the ship or
and,
like
yeah,
stuff
on
like
the
that?
ship. And, well, he was a CB, so mostly it
I'm
was.
sorry, CB.
A CB is they're the first ones there, so they show up and they need to go set up an island, jump on an island or
Right.
a piece of the land. The CBs will show up with bulldozers and they'll build an infrastructure.
Oh, nice.
And then, hey, look, man,
I didn't know that was a Navy function. I thought that was like a
Yeah.
Marine function.
they're there before the Marines.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because they have all the infrastructure on their ships, right?
Yeah, so these guys are steel welders, and these guys.
fascinating. I did not know that.
So we get this with all the kinds of cool little certificates, all this stuff, and there's a memorandum in a little package of papers that he received when he got off the boat, and this one in particular I'm going to read because this was back in the 40s.
Okay.
So he was served the Navy. I guess he was in for 6 years, and he got out in 45.
Does it have emojis on it?
No, they didn't have that. So this was
They have emojis?
this is a typed
The yellow middle
thing.
finger?
So all right. So this was a note or a memorandum to the sailors, or the soldiers, I should say. And so after carefully reviewing the available scientific data on the efficiency of various means of chemical and mechanical prophylaxis of a committee of experts appointed by the American Social Hygiene Association and the United States Public Health Service makes the following recommendations.
Okay.
Number 1,
prophylactic.
safest method. A, use a condom of standard type.
B,
lambskin,
standard type, not ribbed or
flavored,
or glow in the dark.
B,
they can see you. They can see you.
thoroughly wash the genitals and the adjacent parts with soap and water as soon as possible. The sooner the better. But within 1 hour at most after removal of the condom.
Adjacent parts.
Adjacent parts, like the bunghole, perhaps.
The knee.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's adjacent would be
the rectal lips.
It's the strip. It's the taint. In the adjacent parts, the taint.
Yeah,
so they want you to scrub the pad.
Did taint exist back then, that word? Why did it say taint?
Yeah.
All right.
What about paniculum?
That is number 1. The safest method, the condom. All right. And then make sure you clean yourself well after the condom. Now,
was it hardcore latex back then is what it was?
I don't know.
So people would like swell up.
This could have been a this could have been a Ziploc bag as far as I know.
Their taint. A taint hive.
So number 1, the safest method, a condom. Number 2, in the absence of a condom.
Yes.
This is disturbing.
Oh, God.
In the absence of a condom, after you
have done your thing,
do whoopee, you thoroughly wash with soap and hot water, as already described. After urination, inject
where
6 cc's of 2% strong silver protonate solution or other efficient, non-irritating germicidal solution into the urethra
in your dick hole
and hold for 5 minutes and shake. No, I added the shake part. It didn't say shake.
So you have to hold it.
Put your thumb over the cap.
As this thing is just like burning your
dick hole,
your pee line.
And then C, rub 33% ointment of mild mercurous chloride, a calomel ointment into the genital and adjacent parts.
So it's not like a needle. It's not like you're sticking a needle in your dick hole.
Well, how do you inject it?
Well, I mean, it's got to be some sort of
like a turkey baster.
Yeah, but a thin plastic, needle.
One of your buddy sailors probably spits it into the dick hole.
Oh, come on.
Like a blow dart?
No one does that.
I don't know. No one does that. I don't know. I think Jeff's. When your kids get their medicine, they give you that little syringe.
Yeah, it's a little squeeze thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not the bladder.
But
you have to like jam it in your dick hole.
Yes.
And like jam it in there. You have to massage it so it gets all the way up the length of it.
Well, it says.
It says fully deploy
into the urethra and hold
so you have
for
to
5 minutes.
Like accordion it? So
I don't know.
Work it back and forth?
Well, maybe there's that's where they take the pipe cleaner and they're like,
okay.
How many men do you think did this?
Oh, man.
0.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Back in the day, that's what they do, right?
Well, who are they having sex with that's so dangerous?
Well, I don't know.
Each other?
Man,
I don't know. They're not talking about the girls, are they?
Well, you know what?
Just lay there.
There's an interesting postcard. So there's a postcard I'll pop up on
what about
here.
The nurses?
Okay, so so you see this postcard? It's a woman back in the 40s, and she's dressed very well, I don't want to say scantily, but
got some cleavage work.
Yeah, it's provocative.
Yeah, it's provocative,
especially for the day.
Zoom in there. It's got a low V-line neck, and you can definitely see the cleavage.
Oh yeah,
and she's looking into the mirror, and she's like, says, "How do you think a rough sailor would look on me?"
Oh wow.
Oh.
How? 40s. This is in the 40s. How do you think a rough sailor will look on me?
Wow.
This is the postcard.
Yeah, that's...
So when they were deployed, they were over there in either like Northern Africa or the Philippine area or like the European thing. So I wonder what this was really geared for.
I'm going
territory?
Pacific. The
Pacific?
arena, right. So we're talking Korea,
Well, the Philippines are big,
Chinese,
right? So
Philippines. Yeah.
Guadalcanal.
Well, he did 4. My grandfather did 4 tours, back to back.
Where at? Do you know?
One of them was out in Africa, and like you said, and I'd have to do research. You know what's interesting is that they have on the other side. I took photos of the postcard, and let's see here. I took.
Did they have diagrams, figure A and figure B, for the insertion of the silver into your?
They did not.
Peen hole?
They had sailors demonstrating it.
I was going to say, you'd think they'd have like some kind of picture.
Oh, and mind you, this is
how you do it.
This is my Pabst Blue Ribbon dude. So remember I told you that in the past podcast that I may be have the main lineage and all the rights to the Pabst Blue Ribbon brewery.
I think you need to flex that. Go up there.
I'm pretty sure you don't have the rights to the brewery.
You know what? You don't know. You don't know until you stir that pot. And so his name was Leroy.
I believe it's publicly owned now. So
is it really?
I don't think you really have a say in it.
Yeah, too late.
May get a tour out of it.
A free tour.
You get a free tour. Actually, you'll get a 50% discount.
Yeah. And a lifetime supply of Pabst Blue Ribbon cups.
Who owns Pabst Blue Ribbon now? Do we know?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
The big conglomerates?
I don't know.
Let me look.
So on the postcard, it does have his battalion, whatever, battalion number 17, CB company number 6. So
Very cool.
I will do some fact checking on that because I just found this out like a couple hours ago. So for me, it's kind of cool because it's no one knew my grandfather. I mean,
right.
He's dead. You know,
no, it's super cool. There's been multiple times that I've seen pictures from either Vietnam because of my father-in-law. I've seen pictures of just different family photos. Not in my family, but different photos of like World War II type of stuff. First-hand pictures, and they're just
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Well, my dad was sitting at the table, and I was sharing with him, Alan's some of the experiences he had shared, and my dad has never talked about his Vietnam stuff, and today was like one of the few times he's ever mentioned something about it.
Oh wow!
He says, "Oh yeah, when we were on the island, there was an airstrip, and I never knew he was on the island with an airstrip." Okay, so I was like, "Yeah, we made the airstrip." And after the airstrip was made, you had the aviation guys on one side of the strip that took care of the planes and the pilots and all that stuff was on one side. And then we were on the other side as a signal battalion that maintained the infrastructure and the defense of the island.
Right.
Or wherever they were at. And I was just, that's that kind of shit is amazing. And I'm like, how come we haven't heard about this stuff?
Yeah, my dad doesn't really talk about his military career either.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just you don't talk about it. My brother-in-law was deployed, I think, 3 times over into Afghanistan and Iraq. He doesn't really talk about that either.
Right.
Well, sometimes they just don't give a shit. They don't.
Well, I think maybe when you get to a certain age, you may go, all right, now I need to share. But it's these things. It's not an easy thing to talk about or to live through again.
It isn't. And I will tell you.
We'll never understand that.
Yeah, we've even had my father-in-law on the podcast. And I will tell you, it took some serious, I don't want to say coaxing because that's not what I was trying to do, but we were just drinking one night and talking about different things. And he started talking and I mean,
he kept going.
And
for our listeners out there, Paul's father-in-law had 3 Purple Hearts.
Yeah.
What else do you have besides Purple Hearts?
No, I think that was it. 3 Purple Hearts. I mean,
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And he had a very intense tour or multiple tours in Vietnam. And and he was saying to me, this isn't something I've thought about or talked about since I left there.
Right.
So, I mean, it is not easy for these guys to talk about it, especially like the harrowing stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? The stuff where they didn't think they were going to come home after that night.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my dad, he's told me, I think, 1, maybe 2 stories because he was on the Enterprise.
Right.
And, some of the stuff they go, and that's an extremely dangerous place to be on the deck. And the
USS Enterprise?
Yeah. The ones, that's when they had props on some of the planes. They still do, I guess. But, he's like, there were accidents all the time, all the time. People dying, people getting just screwed
mangled.
Up. And he said there was one time there was a plane, big propeller going, and the guy tried to
Indiana Jones them, huh?
Kind of sneak by. So it was going like this, and it caught him in the chin.
Oh my God!
And he said there was meat everywhere.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. You know,
Oh, that's
but
awful.
that's about all I've ever gotten out of him. I don't ask him much.
Yeah, you
That's
don't
a
want to
deal
bring it up
breaker.
unless.
No,
Yeah.
maybe as a kid, I maybe talked about it a little bit with him, but he doesn't share much, which is fine. And if he doesn't want to, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I think it's hard for the folks who go through that to talk about it. Again, I'll never know.
Right.
I've never experienced anything like that.
I learned my dad did a tour in Honduras, of all places, and I don't even know what the fuck he was doing down there. And he had a pet monkey.
Sandinistas.
What the hell's that? Is that the type of monkey?
The Reagan. That was
Reagan
the Iran-Contra scandal.
Yeah, the Iran-Contra scandal. Was that Honduras or Ecuador?
No, he was in
That
Honduras.
was Guatemala.
Who was?
It's Nicaragua.
Is Noriega?
Whoa,
that's Nicaragua.
whoa. Easy on the hard R, bro.
Nicaragua.
Oh.
Noriega.
Is he still alive?
You know, going back to the thing
Speaking of hard R.
about the pictures. No, about
Oh,
the
I thought you were talking about the
tell one
halftime.
story. So I was at a company where there was a woman there that on a side, as a side business, she did events. She planned events. Okay, so people, whenever they had like a 50th birthday or they had a something, and they wanted to do a big event where they did like pictures and
Slideshows.
slideshows, and all, they would bring it to her and they would ask her, "Hey, can you organize this for me?" And I don't know if they paid her or not, but one time I was walking around by her desk and I was like, "Well, what are all these pictures?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I have blah blah blah." Some other woman at the place wanted me to put together a celebration of her great grandfather or grandfather. And he was a photographer in World War II.
Oh,
And these are his pictures.
right.
And I'm like going, oh, wow, amazing. I'm looking at the pictures. They are his pictures. He's a photographer at the event of, I think it was the Malta Accords, where Truman, Stalin, and Churchill were sitting in a bench. They're like some of the most famous pictures of World War II.
Right.
And they were every angle that you could think of these.
And they were his pictures?
I was holding first-hand pictures that he took.
You just snagged it.
I did. I took
Oh,
like
the
3 or 4 of
Malta
them.
Conference?
Yeah, the Malta Conference. Is that what it was?
Yeah. That was Roosevelt.
Incredible.
Winston Churchill.
I was just standing there going, does anybody else understand the significance of these pictures here?
No,
Because
most people do not.
they're like, oh, neat World War II pictures. Okay.
Oh, did you print it off your phone?
Right. I was just like, oh, my God. I was freaking out. Anyway, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I enjoy history so much. Like,
Yeah.
Man, even like when I was on one of my work excursions in Alabama, I got to the Bay of Alabama, Mobile. I don't know what that bay is called. Maybe it's the Bay of Alabama. I don't know. But
Pigs.
there's that big freaking USS Alabama.
Oh, yeah. You talked
Boat
about
sitting
that.
there.
Yeah.
Spent
You said you loved it.
Oh
Yeah, you
man, I
loved
went
it.
through that night. And
Have you been to the one down at Corpus Christi? Or Galveston, wherever it's at? They have a battleship down there as well.
I really need to do that.
I have
I would
not been
enjoy that
on
as
it.
well.
You've
But-
been on that?
I have not been on it, but we drove past it. But with
It's the same thing. You could take the tours.
But I'd have to be very specific of who I go with because I don't want to be rushed, and I
Yeah.
will spend 5 hours on that
Sure.
boat.
Well, it's kind of like the Pacific War Museum in Fredericksburg. I mean, it would take you 3 days
It would.
to go through everything if you take your time, right? We've talked about that before. So, anyway, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were going to talk about we were on the Cincinnati Bengals winning at the last second. We're talking about the referees making some bad calls, or actually not necessarily making bad calls, but not seeing certain things.
I think what it was is the consistency through the game.
Right.
They were not calling a lot of stuff until
Yeah.
the last minute and a half.
Yeah.
Then there were bang, 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 ticky-tack ones right there at the end.
It was just, come on. I mean,
Unfortunately, when I watched them, I thought they were legitimate calls. But the question is, were those calls being made earlier in the game?
No,
Correct.
that's the point.
That's the point,
Yeah.
right?
Was it a
I mean-
hold? Yes, it was a hold. But
Yes.
it happened
when
throughout
Cincinnati
the
gets
game
down
and
all the
not
way down
called.
there, and they're like, all right, look, we just got to hold them.
God, but
We just got to hold them. They did like 15 plays in a row.
exactly. It's like the Rams
I'm
held
like,
them.
what the hell, man?
Held them for and then Cooper Cup. Can't stop Cooper Cup.
I think I
Yeah,
saw
but they
that-
did.
I
They
saw
stopped
that.
him for so many plays.
I think
I
I saw
know,
on one of those big. It may have been the touchdown play or one of the other big passes. The Rams had a huge false start. The entire line false started, and then the center snapped it, and they didn't call that.
They didn't call
But
that.
they called the penalty on the Bengals.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that.
And they showed it. There's footage of it.
It's frustrating, And it's all hindsight, but
I thought
it's frustrating.
I thought it was a fun Super Bowl.
It was. I thought
day.
It was good.
Like we all brought different food to the table, and we all like.
Yeah. Well, you brought your Cincinnati, whatever that stuff's
Chili.
called.
Cincinnati Chili.
That was
Cincinnati
really
Chili.
good.
Did you like it?
It was very unique.
It is.
He didn't say yes.
No, I did. I did
No,
enjoy
you
it.
didn't say yes. He said it was very unique.
I know.
No. I did enjoy it. It was actually really, really good.
Again. No, fuck you.
Oh wow!
I took it home and I froze it. So
That's
No,
good.
it was actually really good, and I was fun. Everybody brought. We had a ton of food, and we were all
we
like,
did.
Did Chili like it?
We had
you know
way
what?
too much
I
food,
never even
actually.
asked her, to be
Yeah,
honest.
most people do. Some people don't. It's a strange flavor.
It's
The clove.
It's
Yeah, it's weird,
it's clove, it's cinnamon, the chocolate. It's the consistency of the meat too. I mean, a lot of times when you get like a hamburger meat in your chili, it'll come in like chunks.
Yeah,
like,
there are no chunks.
and
in those.
yeah, there are
Oh,
no
it's very
chunks.
fine. How'd you get
Yeah.
it so fine?
I get a toothpick and
And
I
you-
pick it.
Oh, I see. You scrape them apart.
No,
Like
what you do is you put the raw meat in all your stuff, and then you boil it, and the boiling breaks it apart.
You
okay.
boil the meat.
You boil the meat.
I see. I was going to
in
say,
water?
man, for it to be
Yes.
that fine, there had to be some process.
And
there.
then,
Yeah.
and then you take the boiled meat and you just put it through the sifter or
No,
what?
I don't sift anything.
No, he said just boiling it makes the meat fall apart into granules.
Yeah,
Oh, so you don't? Was the water evaporate eventually?
yeah. That's why it cooks like an hour and a half. Right.
Ah.
So it thickens up some.
Do you put the spices in there at that time while
Yes.
it's boiling?
I put everything in there.
Ah.
Tomato paste, water, all the spices, and the meat, and then I sit there and I break it apart. Then I bring it to
With
a
your
boil.
toothpick.
Yeah, with my toothpick. No, with
With
the
your
fork. And
toothpick.
I break it down as much as I can with the fork, and then bring it to a boil, and that breaks it the rest apart.
Yeah. Well, it was very interesting, and I like I said, I enjoyed it. Anyway, so I thought it was a fun experience. You know, typically we all gather around waiting for the funny commercials. We didn't do much of that.
No.
I don't know if it was because they weren't funny or because we just didn't pay much attention.
I don't think we paid much attention
We
to it.
kind of
Yeah.
didn't.
Although the one I remember that I thought was just absolutely stupid was the Google commercial where they said black people have not been photographed for years because cameras don't pick up dark-skinned people.
Yes.
And there's like-
And that's why we have the new Pixel 6 camera.
Yeah, look how great these are with all this lighting and everything.
that is so insulting.
It is. And I'm like, I have pictures that look just like this because it's backlit and I'm in it, right? I'm not black.
Right.
And I look just like this, whatever picture you're showing.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. It's how well you light the
It's just so insulting.
picture. I don't know.
Man, I'll
It,
say
it,
it.
it, it implies
I'll say
that
it.
black people look bad on
There
pictures.
are
Yes.
a lot of folks out there
And no one's
that,
thought about it before.
there's two different ways that some of the quote unquote conservatives, based on some of my Facebook friends out there, I kind of looked at some of their posts and like some of my conservative friends out there didn't like the halftime show. I wonder exactly why that was. And I'm like, dude, and I wrote down, I said, the hypocrisy. And then ended it. And then I added another one right below it, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a very entertaining halftime show. But it's the hypocrisy. And it's just like, and the thing is I don't give a shit. But it just, everything about the Super Bowl was about this perfectly blended, like every commercial, most of the commercials, it's just like, after a while, you're forced to look. All right, well, there's a Mexican, there's an Asian, there's a white person. It's like this diversity thing.
Yeah.
And you go like, checking this off,
It's
checking this
so
off.
scripted.
Boom.
It's
And
so
it's just like,
scripted.
I mean, it's just not real. It's just not real. And then you go to the halftime show and you're like, all right, well, where's the diversity in that?
There was zero diversity.
And the thing is I don't care. I don't care.
That's the thing. We don't
I don't
want to care.
care.
We don't want to care.
But it's just like,
But unfortunately, the Twitter mob is the ones who care and are the loudest, and that's who the press picks up.
Right.
Someone's going to tweet something that says so and so was racist or whatever, and
One person
on
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter reacts.
But it's
No,
like my
not
friend.
really.
I mean, why
Right.
did he have to post that? Oh, my conservative friends. You know what? The only reason I responded was because he had the audacity to put that on Facebook and to social media.
To imply that your conservative
It's like,
friends
you
were
know what?
racist.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I had a guy that I worked with say, "How do you feel about being a Republican and when your party is a racist party?" That's what he just point blank sits down in my cube
Really?
and says that to me, and I was like, "Well, they're not, and I'm not, And
Which company was this?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it was back when I was at P&M. So
I've been like, well, you realize
interesting.
the Democrats are the roots of slavery and
Oh.
Jim Crow and all that, right?
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
no, there was the big switch. No, there wasn't.
Yeah,
No,
they're
no.
the ones that were.
I think in 50 years they'll say the big switch that the Republicans were for all the COVID bullshit, and it was the Democrats who.
Yeah,
won
the
it.
Democrats were the ones that have the longest filibuster in all-time history, trying to hold back the equality, the laws of equality. What is that called?
Civil rights.
Civil
Civil
rights.
rights.
Yeah, the civil rights. I mean, that's ridiculous. And they're talking about, the filibusters,
right.
Dude, you guys are. I mean, how many times did they use the filibuster when Donald Trump was in office? And I think it was like 300 times.
Yeah,
it was more than
It
300
was
times.
crazy. Uh-oh.
So it's just I'm sick of it. It's just like everyone's sick of it. Everyone is absolutely sick of it.
I know.
And it's just like we don't know what's right. We don't know what's wrong. We're trying to fact check shit, but how the hell are you going to fact check something that is on an unfact checkable internet service?
Right.
Right.
Because you've got
Because
Google.
it's censored.
Yeah, you got Google that they're skewing the search
filtering,
results.
Yeah, they're filtering the search results.
Yeah, and it's just like, and then you got these people that just like, Donald Trump was talking, I don't go back in time here and talking about the Durham report, kind of bleeding into this, but
Right.
It's just Donald's kind of like, hey, look, we found
The 60 Minutes interview.
in my building, they found in the Trump building where he had one of his offices, and they had the phone distribution. And they tapped the lines on the phones. They found the tap. They found the tap
Right.
because they've got the lines that hook up to it, and it goes somewhere else,
Right.
so you can hear it. So they found the tap, and that's why Donald was kind of like,
They're
dude,
spying on me.
we found it. We've got proof. I mean, it's right, and it's just like, well, we can't verify it. What was that
Leslie
bitch's
Stahl.
name?
Leslie Stahl.
It's just like, well, you just don't want to talk badly about Biden. But in her defense, why is it that we couldn't verify it back then?
They didn't want to. They hated Trump.
Yeah,
They
but
didn't want to listen to Trump.
Oh, they called him a liar in everything he said.
but that's just it. It's kind of like,
Why couldn't he have said, "Here's the proof," and handed it to her?
I
yeah.
mean, mainstream media was blatantly calling everything he said a lie. Even though he was a sitting president of the United States, they were like, well, Trump's up there lying again today. I mean, as if they were just breathing.
Right.
They called him a liar every single day.
yeah,
And
call
so that
him a
was just another
racist
lie,
and-
despite the fact that it was this Russian collusion thing was drummed up by Clinton's campaign.
Hillary. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
lawyers for the campaign, right?
Correct.
Well,
and now the Durham report is starting to leak that stuff.
Right.
no,
So it's bad.
Well, I
there's
saw
a lot of stuff that's
It's worse. It's worse than the freaking Watergate. It's literally worse than
Do you
Watergate.
think anything will come of it?
I don't know.
I mean, Durham's got the power to make something come of it.
Well, I mean, that's just it. Everyone says, some shit's gonna hit the fan. This is gonna happen.
Yeah,
this is
we
gonna
always hear that.
You know what?
And nothing ever happens.
Tell me, where's the meat? Show me. I mean, yeah, it's coming out.
Nothing
but,
ever happens.
But if you look at some of the like CNN, they came up with a rebuttal saying, "Oh yeah, well, the Durham report is just a twisted Republican skew of the facts."
They discredited
with
it.
in ABC, MSNBC, CBS, none of them, 0 minutes on it.
Didn't even cover it.
Well, I went
0
to
minutes.
CNN's website and MSNBC's website. It was yesterday. Nowhere to be seen.
Zero. It is bigger than Watergate.
Yeah. Nowhere
Yeah.
on their websites.
I mean, it's
And you go to Fox.
it's amazing.
And it's like the top story.
Oh, it was four stories in a row,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sick
all
of it
related
too.
to the Durham report.
And the thing is that again, I don't give a shit. Just
I mean, that kind of shit I do. I mean,
I care about that.
that's full blown
here's-
corruption.
it's
and-
absolute corruption. But it goes. This is like Obama. I mean, so they're insinuating that both Biden, the vice president at the time, and Obama knew what was going on.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
of course they did.
of course they did.
Comey is the big.
Is that the
the
one
big fall guy.
when Valerie Jarrett was in there? Was that her?
Yep.
Was in there?
Yep.
In the right before Obama left, I think it was one of the last meetings, and they wanted to make sure that nothing sideways was going to happen with Trump, right? So they're like, there was some act or something like that, or some rule that they could enforce and do shit like this,
Right.
But I think they said not enough to implicate anyone, but they knew what to do. Kind of those things, right?
Right.
Well, so you're talking about like when they hacked the server
Yeah.
and put those files on there to show that there was some sort of collusion, but they're not sure where. Oh, we found these files on the server.
Well, then Hillary tweeted like the day before the election, oh, it looks like Trump campaign has Russian communication back and forth on their servers or something to that effect.
Unbelievable.
The day before the election, she tweets this.
And it was a total hoax.
Yeah. Because she or her
And
campaign put it on there.
the mainstream media went ape shit crazy.
And she still lost.
Crazy on that story. They went nuts. Like it was nonstop coverage about Russian collusion.
Russia.
I mean, it's so obvious.
So
and what kills me is that like standard Americans can't. They don't know. They don't know.
Well, you know what?
No.
We don't know. And
They
I'll tell you
literally
what,
don't know. No, I mean they literally don't know
They don't care.
that
but there's more to it.
news is being withheld from them. Is what I'm saying.
So, I mean, answer why the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, how she negotiated providing Putin 20% of our uranium.
Yeah, I remember something about that, but
Yeah, vaguely, right?
right.
But it's there. Okay, why? No, everyone glosses over that whole thing.
Right.
Why? Why did the United States have to give Putin 20% of our uranium?
They gloss over all the Clinton stuff. All of it.
Do.
Well,
All of it.
it's just, you know, there's a divine plan, and it's a huge chess game. And, you know, I think that Hillary was supposed to make office, and she had all these things set in play.
She couldn't believe it. Like it was already staged. It was already rigged.
Yeah.
It was already done.
They were ready to go. And, you know,
Probably
and then
make
Biden was
millions
able.
of dollars.
Well, the whole thing about the energy in Ukraine and feeding the fuel into Europe, you know, that was huge. That was collusion, in my opinion. That was collusion between the Hillary elites,
Right.
you know, and Putin directly. They're the ones in cahoots.
Right.
Because why would you give him 20% of our uranium?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, and that's just it. So if they have a relationship where they feel comfortable not negotiate, I mean, I'm sure there was a negotiation that we never saw.
Right.
You know, we're not privileged to find out what was.
I think there's a lot going on we don't know.
Yeah, well, tons of it, and it's just you got to think about it. All right, well, you know, if we're negotiating that, and the first thing, and then she didn't make the presidency, and the first thing that Biden does is knocks down our oil production by shutting down the pipeline, and
approves
the pipeline up in
Nord Stream,
and lets that pipeline go to circumvent Ukraine.
It was like the first day.
Specifically.
It's mind-boggling.
Specifically. And not just that, but
see, guys, this is all an agenda. This is not coincidence. This is not incompetence. This is an agenda. I mean, this is a playbook. Like, do this, do this, do this, do this. The question is, what's the end game? Like, what are they aiming for here?
You know, and I'm also kind of I'm going to play major conspiracy on this. People probably think I'm a fool, but
here we go. Aliens or
well, I believe in aliens too, but I absolutely
pyramids.
Putin is an alien.
I think that Bitcoin is a farce.
It's a fake currency.
Oh, it is.
It's a farce, meaning that somebody owns it. That I mean, look, they're saying that I don't even know the homeboy's name. You know, whoever actually came up with it, but whoever came up with it, it's a pseudonym. Right. So it's some Asian dude in a cave somewhere. No, you know, but that's what they make it sound like. His name is Hojiwan Kanasaki. You know, and I don't remember who because our producer's not here. But whoever came up with Bitcoin.
Oh, was that old guy you're talking about? That old billionaire.
Well, you're talking about Pena.
Crotchety old man.
Yeah, well, he had mentioned about Putin, and he's the one that is in charge of it. But even if it isn't Putin, it's an entity out there that's part or tied into the elites, and they're going to pull the plug on it. I mean, it's become there you go, Satoshi Nakamoto. I was close,
very, very close.
But that is not a real person. It is a pseudonym of whoever came up with it. And no one knows. That's just it. So how can you buy into something that you have no idea what the fuck it is? I mean, it's a system that works. It's a system that has been working, but it's baseless. I don't know.
There's nothing that supports it. Like we have Fort Knox in the gold to support the U.S. dollar. Nothing is out there to support Bitcoin. That's why you get such huge fluctuations, right?
Yeah, it's not built. It's not based on anything. Yeah. So I was just doing. It's been a while since I've been on the cryptocurrency. They're still down. We're way down.
With Bitcoin or just all of it?
Bitcoin was up in the 60,000 range, and now it's I think in the 40,000 range. I mean, that's a big drop. A big drop. So I don't know.
I have no
way down.
I have no faith in it. So
I mean, what's crazy is there's some countries that are talking about changing their national currency to
Bitcoin.
To Bitcoin.
Oh, I think that's a huge mistake.
It's crazy.
How could you run anything on that? Because one day you have this much money, the next day you have half of that money.
Well, you know what? That's the way their currency is too.
True.
So I think that's why they're talking about it, because they experience
because their currency is useless. Basically,
correct. Their
no
currency is so influenced by hyperinflation and
volatile.
So volatile that Bitcoin has more stability. So maybe that's what it is. I know it is it's a Central American country. I don't know if it's Nicaragua or
what'd you say?
What?
That's a hard R.
Nicaragua.
Damn.
Guatemala.
Nicaragua. Anyway, all right. So we got some. I don't want to say.
Well, it's just
heavy
you don't
topics.
know what's going on. I mean,
yeah, we're in some heavy topics. We need some.
Well, hold on. We're going to continue with a few more heavy topics. We talk about the mayor of New York. We could talk about the people with COVID that are on their deathbed in stage 5 cancer because they don't want to take the COVID test. Therefore, they're not valid to get the kidney transplant.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, they're denying organ transplants to people who are not vaccinated. I mean,
is that a specific hospital?
A couple stories have come out there.
It's a carrier,
or is it a healthcare company?
It's a healthcare company. So it's like, hey, look, these are the rules. If you want a kidney, you're gonna have to get the jab.
So what they're doing is extending so like if you need a lung transplant,
right?
They will not give you one if you still smoke.
Correct.
Right, and that's exactly what they're doing to unvaccinated. We're not going to give you a perfectly good organ if you're unvaccinated.
Look,
but it's outrageous.
What about
it's
all
drastically
this
different?
It's
buzz
dramatically different
about what is it? The people like that are part of the executive part of Pfizer, Moderna, and dropping their stock, selling them, sell. I mean, have you heard the story?
No. Why would you do that? Good Lord. I mean, it's going to go nowhere but up. Well, maybe it's peaked.
No,
it's peaked.
That's what I'm saying is that they're one of the major owners of the company sold $40 billion of their stock.
Yeah, because people are catching on. The boosters don't work. The vaccines don't work.
They recalled the booster program for the 5 and under program. They yanked it.
Right.
Yeah, so they're knowing that things are peaking.
Yeah, so
Big Pharma has run the gamut, and they made billions and billions and billions of dollars.
This guy's probably just cashing out. He's like, it's at the peak. It may go a little higher, but I'm getting out now.
Yeah,
like, I'll have $40 billion instead of $45 billion.
Smart, because people are wising up. They don't want to be locked down anymore. They're looking at the stats. They're realizing that it doesn't matter if the majority of the country is vaccinated.
I heard a stat today.
Everybody's still getting COVID, so
I heard a stat today. It was on I can't remember what talk show it was. They said that because the question was asked, do you think the worst of the pandemic has come, or do you think it's about to come?
Right.
I think 42% said the worst has already happened.
Right.
And 36% said the worst is still yet to come.
Okay.
Well, that's just it. We
that
don't
doesn't
know.
surprise me.
But that's still a huge chunk of the population
why
who
do
is
you
locked
think
down.
That is? Why do you think that is? Because people are watching CNN and listening to
No one's
CDC.
watching CNN.
Yeah, but CDC, they are paying attention to the FDA and the CDC, and they've been lying to us since day one.
Yeah.
Well, I should rephrase that. They've been incompetent.
Yeah, I don't think it's they're
They're not lying necessarily. They're
the World Health Organization did.
They are incompetent, and they are trying to figure out how to deal with this, and they are failing miserably at doing it effectively.
I agree. I also saw a video today because Nevada just lifted the mask mandate recently. And there's a video out there of a protest of people yelling, "Bring back the mask mandate."
Oh.
Bring back the mask. And they're marching down the street with signs, and there are probably, 50 people or so.
Yeah, because they are convinced that masks work and that masks save lives.
Bring back the mask mandate.
Yeah.
No, you can wear your mask if you want.
Yeah, but to them, it's irresponsible for anybody not to be wearing a mask because you're putting people at risk.
I know.
Especially the unvaccinated. My God, if you're unvaccinated and you're not wearing a mask and you're out in public, you are.
I look at it this way.
You're evil.
I think I've said this before, that I am organically vaccinated now.
Yeah, you are.
It sounds so sexual.
Organic. It does. You're orgasmically. Well, no.
I didn't say orgasmically.
Hold on. What did you say?
Organically.
So what's the difference? That sounds very similar.
Orgasmically?
Orgasm. What?
What? Spherical?
So let me tell you what I read today. And I know we're on this vaccine thing, but so they were interviewing. This is on Revolver. Have you guys ever gotten on the Revolver website?
I drank their beer.
Couple times.
Okay.
I have one downstairs.
Okay. So this is a guy. This investigative journalist was interviewing an embalmer. Right?
Oh.
Yeah. So this is a guy. This is a guy that is taking out organs to prepare them for funeral homes.
Yes.
Yeah, funeral homes. And
preservation.
And he knows. He looks at so many bodies that he embalms. That he looks at. I don't know how he knows that they've clotted the blood. He said the blood's not normal. Like, of all these people that he's embalming, 50% of them have blood clots. And he says he did not see it until vaccines started.
Was it the blood or the blood vessel inflammation?
He just said blood clotting. And he's an embalmer. And so this investigative journalist went to other embalmers. So he interviewed 3 different embalmers and said, "Are you noticing anything differently in the bodies that you're processing for that?" All 3 of them said the same thing. This is not normal.
Oh, that's interesting.
Something's going on. And guys, this is not the only. I mean, these things are coming from everywhere. Like, there are doctors that are speaking up and getting censored. There are kids that are dying of. They said, this is another article I read. There were 2 high school basketball players, right, 15 and 17, that collapsed and died in a game. 2 on the same day.
Same team?
No. Not the same team, but 2 on the same day.
That does happen.
And no, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It happened here in Plano.
No, but they were going through the stats of what it would take for 2 basketball players of teenage, dying on the same day, and they said it was.
I'll tell you what, Brandon had to
astronomical.
Brandon did
odds.
Did an EEG or EEK or whatever
EKG
in 8th grade because of the heart problem, because of athletes dropping dead on the field. Because you have an unknown heart defect.
Yes.
And so that's a real thing.
Could
it happen? Yes. And to equate that to the vaccine, I think is a little irresponsible because it's a real thing and it happens. And it happened to a big football player down in Plano.
Yeah. So it does happen. But they're saying 2 in the same day.
Well, who was saying,
statistically speaking,
who was saying?
It wouldn't have happened in the same day.
It was a guy that analyzed statistics.
So did they both have the?
So who do you believe?
Vaccine?
Do you believe that guy or the fact that that's the problem I'm having is who do you believe? You seem to believe everything you read on these things.
I don't.
That support your opinion.
Oh.
Right. No, so here's the thing. Every single article.
Yeah, Paul.
Hold on. Every single article that supports my narrative
You
is
fucking
truth.
believe
That's
it.
what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Well, let me say that again. If it supports my narrative, it's truth.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah.
So, are there any questions?
That's the way CNN is, right?
Are there any questions? I mean, I have the final say here.
So you are the new CNN.
Yeah, Paul Losi.
Paul Losi? Okay,
Nice.
we're ending this podcast right now. Turn off the microphones. He and I are having a talk. That was actually kind of clever.
Yeah.
You like that?
You're a dick.
Yeah. So I don't know if I believe
I totally I understand what you're saying, but my point is there are signs that are coming. There are lots and lots of signs that we have a serious problem.
Well, I know, but are they signs, or is it now that this vaccine out and there's such a conspiracy about it, we're finding signs that may not necessarily be there?
I don't think so. But you
well,
are.
I mean, in defense of what Jeff's
you're
saying,
right to challenge.
even though I disagree with him, that's true. I mean, if you look hard enough, you're going to find it.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like
that.
the mass weapons of destruction in Iraq. You know, they said they were there. We looked forever. We never found them.
No, because they weren't there.
Yeah.
Right.
We found Saddam Hussein sitting in a fucking hole eating Mars bars.
Yeah, he was too.
With shit all over his face.
Did he have shit on his face?
I don't know. I think somebody shat.
I bet his butt was raw.
I thought somebody shat on him.
No, they have wet wipes.
They didn't mean to. They just leaned over the hole and shit in the hole, and he happened to be in it.
Oh, come on.
You
Well,
really,
I don't know.
You really think he had wet wipes in the hole?
I would have wet wipes in the hole. Wouldn't you want your bunghole
He
to be
didn't
nice
have
and
time.
refreshed?
He didn't
I
have
don't
time
think
to
he
get
had wet
in the
wipes.
hole.
He
And
didn't
they're
go,
probably
give me my
aloe and
he
medicated.
was running around going, "My God, they're after me!" And he didn't have time to grab his wipes and jump in the hole.
Dude, he had.
That's all he grabbed was wipes. No food.
So hold up.
Give me my wipes.
Let's back up into that moment.
me
So
my wipes.
they find Saddam Hussein randomly, just searching through these. Just they're looking and they're like everywhere. And
I don't think it was. Was it random?
it was random. These guys just come up on a hole that's got this
No,
little cover
no,
on it,
no.
and they rip it
Shut
off. And that's exactly how it happened.
No, somebody
Producer,
ratted him out.
How did they find the Saddam Hussein?
Somebody ratted him out. They
Well,
got
that's
intel
true, but-
that somebody that looks just like Saddam Hussein just jumped down their little hole.
Well, so he was
wasn't
in
down
the
there very
hole.
long.
But let's
I don't think so.
Let's go back to that era for a moment and to go through the process of what happened afterwards. So they catch his ass
Isn't that crazy?
and they beat the fuck out of him.
No, the U.S. soldiers didn't.
They didn't.
They turned him over.
They
The
turned him
Iraqis
over
did.
to the Iraqis
They did
and they
more
put
than
him in
that.
a cell.
They did more than that.
Oh yeah. So they
hung him, didn't they?
They hung him.
Well, hold on. I was getting
instantaneously.
there. You just stole the thunder,
I
you
sure
son
did.
of a bitch.
But
But
it
it was
a person
how
on the planet. Doesn't
it was
know this
how
story.
they done that. How
Spoiler
they did the whole
alert.
thing.
Way to
They
go.
put
Spoil
him. They put him
Sorry.
in a cell, and they didn't tell him when things were going to happen. They didn't give him a trial.
Did they give him wipes?
Of a jury of his peers. You know, they were just like,
Yeah, they
2
don't do that
o'clock
over
in
there.
the morning. These guys are all out there drinking. You know what? I don't know what we're going to do with this him. He's in there right now. And they're doing shots.
No,
They're
they're
getting
French.
fucked up.
They're French.
And they're kind of like, you know what? Let's kill that motherfucker right now. And so all of a sudden, there's like a dozen people that go they storm into the jail and they get him and they tie his ass up and they hang him. Fucking 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
You know why they did that?
Because they're
probably,
angry.
No, that, and they're probably sitting around going, you know what? If we don't do this now, he's probably going to get off.
Yeah, or someone's going to break him out.
Yeah. If we let him go through the courts, the courts of Iraq, he's probably there's some bullshit's going to happen.
So
we better kill him now.
It says Operation Red Dawn was launched after gaining actionable intelligence identifying 2 likely locations of Saddam's
There you go.
whereabouts.
They weren't
codenamed
wandering
Wolverine
around
1
going, "Hey,
and Wolverine 2.
Hey Bob, look down this hole. There's a guy down there.
Well, but still, they were like, "Hey, man, we got confirmation, or we got some sort of lead that they're during these areas." So
Can you
they
believe
were
that?
But that's just it. They didn't know.
They found him in a hole.
Yeah. One assaulter kicked a piece of flooring to one side, exposing a spider hole. He prepared to throw a grenade in it, and all of a sudden, Hussein appeared. Like,
Oh no!
Hey, wait 1 moment before you throw down.
the Delta operator struck him with the stock, so he just went.
Oh, he had a Glock. So he hit him with the butt of his rifle to disarm him of his Glock. Well, of
And
course
he
he surrendered and
surrendered
offered no
himself.
real resistance.
Because he was knocked out.
What a loser.
Along with a Glock, an AK-47, ass wipes, and $750,000 in U.S. banknotes were
So
recovered in the spider hole.
Okay, well that's definitive. So he
Yeah.
did have ass wipes.
And flushable butt wipes.
Does it matter if they're flushable?
Yeah.
If he's in a
Yeah,
hole?
well, you don't want to mess up those Iraqi and sewer lines.
Septic
Come on.
tanks.
He was in a spider hole. I don't think
Yeah,
it
well-
mattered.
What the hell?
No, what he does, he takes the wipes and he
He was probably
he folds them up
he's
into
probably
these
used the
nice little
bills.
pods and he disposes them in a sanitary little thing.
So compare that to Gaddafi in Libya. Remember how
I
that
don't
went
know-
down?
No, I don't know.
Well, how
he
did the
died.
Gaddafi die?
So
Did they
he-
string his ass up and beat
yeah,
him in the
he got-
streets?
so he got chased out of the palace, and he was in a storm drain, hiding in a storm drain, and the local people, dragged him out and killed him. They just
How'd
killed
they
him.
find him in a storm drain? That is a very good hiding spot.
He was running away.
It was like the clown and
I think he's in the storm drain. Just check down there.
There's some eyes down in there. Look at
Is that Saddam Hussein? No, he's dead. Oh, that must be Gaddafi.
No, Gaddafi was way before Saddam Hussein.
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, much later.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with me?
Yeah, you don't know your history. That's
that was
sad.
Arab Spring,
Super sad.
right?
It was Arab Spring.
Arab
No, he's being
Spring.
serious. That's where multiple Muslim theocracies fell.
Yeah.
In Africa.
Northern Africa. Yeah, that's where Libya is. Tripoli.
Tunisia, Morocco.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? That was from Star Wars.
No, it was like a wolf spider. It's the sound he makes right before you step on it.
It was from Star Wars.
Spider hole.
Okay, why am I not looking at what happened to Gaddafi? I don't understand.
Oh. What is our producer doing over there? Do we
I
need to take
think
his
the
phone
internet,
away?
I think the internet's down. Did you pay your internet bill?
Yeah.
Libya, Gaddafi.
At work today, no problem.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh.
So there must be something wrong with that computer.
Well, regardless. So you were about to lead into the Boba Fett, weren't you?
I was
No.
going to say, speaking of Star Wars, are we all caught up on the Boba Fetts?
Really? I don't even have Disney Plus.
You don't need it.
Well, I don't even have a Fire Stick.
You don't.
I thought you
need
said you brought a brand new one.
It
Just-
got taken
just-
away from me.
Just log into mine.
My son took it away.
Hey,
You could buy it.
just log into my account.
How do I do that?
I give you the password, and you like.
I don't need a Fire Stick?
Yes.
Well, you need
you
something.
need a Disney app.
Well, you have a smart TV, right?
Yes.
Right, you have apps on
Download-
your smart TV.
Download the Disney app.
I'm listening.
Taylor, are you saying you use my Disney number?
Wait, only 144 people can stream at the same time.
No, I can have up to 6 people at the same time. So
Can I be one of them?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's as long as you pick an obtuse and Preston. Well, you know what? Whatever. We chat about that, but there's Boba Fett out, and I'll tell you, Boba Fett has.
Because I haven't seen The Mandalorian.
Well, that's too bad.
Well, you need to watch The Mandalorian, and you need to go back and watch the Clone Wars.
I know.
Yeah.
Clone Wars is about 6 years.
Isn't that the animated one with the
Yes.
girl with the gigantic
Yes.
striped horns?
Yes. But it's very well done. It's very well done.
So that feeds into Mandalorian, which
and
feeds
you know what? It's
into
painful
Boba
to
Fett?
watch too.
Yes.
The Clone Wars are the
Yes,
cartoon.
because a lot of the characters are in.
It's
So
painful
hold on,
to
I
watch.
want to make sure I'm watching things in the correct order.
It's
Are there Star Wars movies? I've seen them all, but do I need to watch one again before I go to Clone Wars? Before
okay.
I go to
Well, if you watch the first
Mandalorian.
three, so you have 4, 5, and 6, right?
4,
First
5, and
that
6.
came out in the 70s and 80s.
what is
Those are the best,
Then you have 1, 2, 3,
which were horrible.
and then you have the Clone Wars.
In between 3
between.
and 4.
what is
and
the
then
Special
4.
Forces one?
That was second one,
what is it?
episode 2.
I can't hear you.
Special Forces.
You guys speak in the mic.
Bad Batch.
Oh, it's a
the
Bad Batch. All right, because
That's after the Clone Wars.
in the Bad Batch, because if you watch Bad Batch, which is another Disney Star Wars thing,
Another well
they
done.
introduce
It's a cartoon, but it's
they,
good.
they don't necessarily introduce, but they have. Well, they introduced their one of the bounty hunters, and that's in Boba Fett.
No, he's in Clone Wars.
Oh, he's also in Clone Wars, but he's in Bad Batch too.
Well, he's
as
mainly in Clone Wars.
But I'm just saying because Disney, because they came out with Bad Batch within the last year or two.
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
Watch Clone Wars first,
So, okay, so I need to watch Clone Wars, then Bad Batch,
Well,
and
just
then the Mandalorian.
then
Yeah.
Mandalorian, then
Boba Fett.
Bubba.
Bobo.
dude, I'm gonna slap the fucking hearing aids out your ears.
Bobo
What the hell?
Fett.
Oh,
Fat.
he's
Bubba Fett.
triggering me.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, yeah. Granted,
Well, that's exciting.
they're animated, they're cartoons, but if you're into Star Wars, they're very well done.
I am, but can I get my wife to watch this? Would she watch this?
It's all full of love stories.
Yeah, they're
Just sell it.
look,
They're
they're
chick flicks.
Just say, hey, there's love story in it,
they're
man.
cheesy, they're childish. Okay, they're cheesy and
I'll tell her
childish.
they're
But look,
Hallmark.
It's kind of like
there
the
you go.
movie. It's kind of like the movie Solo. All right, Solo is not a fantastic movie.
yeah,
all right,
but it's got
but-
what's her name in it.
But if you're
Daenerys Targaryen.
I like her.
if
a
you
lot.
are a Star
Dude.
Wars fan,
Not nude.
you enjoy the storyline.
I do.
And that's what's important is
It is.
learning about the storyline because they teach you how Chewbacca and Han Solo. They teach you about how Han Solo came up with how they have his Han Solo's name.
Hold on, who and who?
and they and how he got the Millennium Falcon, and it's just it ties a lot of loose ends up, and it's just interesting, and I enjoy the hell out of it. Bad Batch, the Star Wars is a cartoon.
Well,
I was
kind
of like,
rating too. Wow, 7.9.
Yeah, Clone Wars was just as high. It was well done, and it looks just like this. So.
Yeah, and it's a storyline, and I'm telling you, look, it's it's difficult. The Clone Wars, how many seasons do they have with the Clone Wars?
6 or 7.
Yeah, it goes on a while, and that's back when. So for those Star Wars folk out there, when Anakin was in the trials to become a Master Jedi, when he broke away from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I guess he was a Jedi and became a Jedi, and he was training Ashoka. Is that her name? Ashoka?
Yeah, Ahsoka.
There's
Ahsoka?
a girl with the big horns.
Ahsoka
and the
Tano.
striped
So
horns.
Anakin was training her. So you actually learn, she learns a lot too. She's a badass.
Yeah, she is. I don't like her voice. The one thing that annoyed me about the show was her voice.
Well, who is it that does the voice?
Oh, I don't, just some actress, but it's
Katy Perry?
very yes. It's
Lindsay Lohan.
Is it Britney Spears?
Yes, they alternate.
It's Demi Moore.
It's not Demi Moore. Shut up.
It's Betty White, actually.
Oh yeah,
Oh, she died.
Oh, the show ended a few years ago, so it's fine.
Yeah, it was,
Oh, thank God.
She lives on through Ahsoka Tano.
That was
she likes that saber.
God.
No, I recommend it.
I
Watch
can't
the
wait.
first
I
3
just-
movies again, and then get into this.
Yes, I just don't have.
I'll tell you. You know what's
Disney Plus.
frustrating?
Watch the first 3,
is
4, 5, and 6.
No, 1, 2, 3.
Those suck.
The Mandalorian Black Saber.
Ugh.
It's so frustrating.
They don't give a whole lot of backstory on that, do they?
Well, no, they explain.
They do some.
No, they do. They explain it. They explain exactly where it came from, but what they don't explain is actually they do during the
Don't spoil it.
So whoever wields the sword
Ah, shit.
has
Spoiler alert.
to they have to be one with the sword.
Correct.
Is what I'm getting at. So the Mandalorian who's got it, he struggles with the sword.
That's King Arthur.
That's my frustration. Is that when he's got the sword, you will find during the show that it's difficult for him to pick it up and do certain things because she's like, you're fighting the sword. You need to be one with the sword. And so it's just frustrating because you can see it. And he's picking it up, and it's kind of like, oh, my God, he weighs 500 pounds.
Why is that frustrating?
Because you want it to be very fluid. You want him to be like a Jedi and start cutting through shit. But he struggles.
Okay, well,
he struggles
because he's not one with the sword.
Yeah, well,
It's just like King Arthur. He can't pull the thing out of the rock unless he's the guy.
Well, yeah, it could be.
People are sticking things in the rock.
Yeah,
I knew it.
yeah.
Speaking of the rock,
he was getting kind of razzed for his little wrestling thing.
Yeah, well, The Rock was like all supporting Joe Rogan, like, "Oh, Joe Rogan, we support you, and your fight against Spotify, and you're right to be able to do the First Amendment speech." But when the N word came out, and they had a little collage of the Joe Rogan N word, which is ridiculous.
He dropped him like a hot rock.
Oh man, he came
time.
out and he was like talking shit about it. Hey, shut the fuck up. First of all, who gives a fuck about you? Okay.
Absolutely true. And when have we ever had a Super Bowl where a celebrity does these antics before the game to get the crowd fired up? What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
I don't need a celebrity to get me pumped up about the Super Bowl.
I was at the
What the fuck
Dallas
does The Rock
Cowboy
have to do with
playoff
football?
game, and
He played for Miami
they
Hurricanes.
did. You guys see it
Good
at home?
for
Did you
him.
guys watch the Dallas Cowboy playoff game?
Yes, we were looking for you
When they got
'cause you
beaten by
were
the
at the
49ers?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you watched it?
Yes.
No.
So right before the game, did
Dak
you see
play?
Michael Irvin?
No, they did not show that.
All right. So
Did he
in
get
the
crowd
stadium,
pumped up?
yeah, in the stadium he did.
At least he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Yes.
And
but-
he's a former NFL great.
Oh, he's Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's different.
Is he in the Hall
Yeah.
of Fame?
Yeah,
Is he?
he's in the Hall of Fame.
That's 100%
he, Emmitt
different.
Smith,
Are
and
you
Troy
sure that-
Aikman.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Well,
No, I don't know.
Didn't he have a drug issue where that kept him out of it?
I
or
think he
something?
is in, but I'm not 100%.
He should be.
Is Emmett?
He was pretty good.
Yeah, he was.
I'm okay with a Hall of
Yeah,
Famer.
in 2007.
Yeah, I'm okay with
Did you say that you were somewhere and his dick was hanging out all over the place? Was that you, Sean?
Yeah, it was his bedroom. No, it was Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was in my bedroom with his dick hanging out.
Yeah. No,
I knew
when
a
you go to
guy.
the gym, he'd
No,
go
I told
work
you that
out.
story. So I knew a guy who was my CIO, and he was at some posh. He was a member of some posh Lifetime Fitness kind of bullshit. And he would tell stories about Michael Irvin would get done working out, and he'd be sprawled out on the couch.
Helicoptering.
He
didn't have to. He'd have this anaconda, rubbing the floor.
God.
And he was not ashamed to show his manhood at all.
And
even my CIO was like kind of making fun of him. He was like, really?
Did he get turned on?
I get it.
I get it.
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't get turned on.
No, you're CIO.
I didn't ask him that.
Oh.
Yeah. That'd have been an awkward question.
It's awkward, period. I mean, any guys hanging out with guys with your ding-ding hanging out, come on.
Yeah, it's too much.
Come on.
Especially like posing like Burt Reynolds in Playgirl, where he's...
You're just, you're just super self-conscious about yourself.
He was spread eagle with his arms up on the couch.
It's inappropriate.
Feet behind the head.
Yeah. I mean, dude, when you get in the sauna,
hold on. I don't think
just put a towel around you. Because, when people get in the sauna, they sit on the bare wooden planks, and they always leave these stupid shit stains. Oh.
Did you say feet behind the ears?
What?
Is that what you said? He's not in deep strike pose.
Yeah.
What pose?
Well, I don't know what you're...
Deep strike?
I don't... What the...
Hold on.
Feet behind the ears?
Let's move from the feet strike to what
do you call it?
What?
It's called deep strike or deep impact or something. I don't know. It's got a name.
What?
All right.
I've never heard that.
What's very interesting is that Michael Irvin got in the Hall of Fame in 2007. Do you know Emmitt Smith didn't make the Hall of Fame until 2010?
He played longer.
That's because he really didn't have that great a career, to be honest.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith?
Well,
yeah. He was too short.
I think he also played longer.
Take it back.
And fumbled a lot.
Take it back.
And he's bald.
And Deion Sanders later made it in 2011.
Yeah, you can't.
That's
You're
understandable.
not eligible until 5 years after you quit or retire, right? So I think Irvin retired first, obviously, because Emmett played for Arizona for a year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
Michael Irvin actually he retired in 2000.
So he didn't get in until 2007.
2007, yeah.
So I think it's 5 years you're eligible. So did he not get in on the first ballot?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm reading. I don't know. So you said every 5 years?
I think it's. I think you become eligible after 5 years.
But they have Hall of Fame every year.
Correct.
Oh well,
but you become eligible after 5 years after you retire.
No. So I thought it was interesting. I saw you saying that Emmitt Smith just didn't. He retired after Michael Irvin.
Yeah, like 3 years later, right?
Yeah, Emmitt Smith got beat the hell up. That was man.
I bet his body just aches.
Well, he was at the Super Bowl. He looked pretty.
Who was he with?
He was like I don't know if it was he. What the kind of language was that?
I don't know.
He was with a younger person, and I don't know if it was his daughter or I didn't want to disrespect him saying he's with a younger woman, but he was either with a daughter or a younger woman, and he had a little cocktail in his hand, so he was up in the elite area.
Yeah, yeah, and then I think it's funny. I've seen some videos of all the celebrities who were there with no masks.
No mask, none of them.
And then all the kids the next day had to go to school with masks.
Oh yeah, and you know what? There were people. Here's what's refreshing. I don't agree with them, but the mask psychos, the liberal leftist mask psychos, they're even heaping it on. You know what I mean?
For the celebrities?
Yeah, for the celebrities. Meaning they don't create an exception for the celebrities. They even dog on them and go, "What the hell are you doing?"
Right.
And then they have the right people who are the right, meaning right wing, the right side, whatever.
They call it the hypocrisy of it.
The hypocrisy of it, yeah. And Lebron James?
Lebrine?
What is
Lebron?
Lebron?
James?
James.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he also didn't have a mask on.
Or who are the other people?
All of them.
Matt Damon,
All of
Ben
them.
Affleck, J-Lo.
I didn't see any.
Justin Bieber.
Oh, they showed them all.
Uh-huh.
Right before they had this
again,
little
I don't even give a
montage.
fuck. and I don't want to shame them. I don't care. I just want.
hate it. I hate
just
the
want
hypocrisy.
I care.
California
I care
to
if they come out and
shut the
says
fuck up.
at the same time they're like everyone needs to wear a mask, but
do they? Have we ever heard
When it's
any of
convenient.
those
the
celebrities?
mayor of L.A. has. He's been busted twice.
Oh yeah,
During
that I'm okay with.
during the AFC or the NFC Championship game. Remember the pictures with Magic Johnson, and they came out and he was getting shit. He goes, "Well, I held my breath
What an idiot!
when I was taking those pictures."
I didn't inhale.
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't inhale. I
didn't swallow.
I held my breath.
I went
Wow.
down, but I didn't swallow.
Wow.
I was wearing a prophylactic.
But there's footage of him again
I
at
injected
the Super Bowl
silver.
of him no mask, and he comes out and is enforcing the mandate.
It shook my
I have a
penis
problem
for
with
That,
that.
I have a major problem
I
with
have
that.
a problem with that. Yeah, like me, if I was seen without mask, I don't want anyone to have to wear a mask unless you want to.
Right, and you know, and that's a good point. I'm not. We shouldn't be judging celebrities that really. I mean, if they thought it was stupid to wear a mask, they didn't want to wear a mask, and they were told they didn't have to wear a mask. Kudos to them.
But if the next day they come out and says, "Yeah, I support the mandate,"
100% different. Yep.
that's a problem.
So
I
I thought
have problems with that
the
too.
Super Bowl was in L.A.
It was.
It was.
So why
why
weren't
the
people
Ram-
wearing their masks?
The Rams had a home game.
So when the
Cincinnati was the home team, though.
how come they weren't
That's
wearing
stupid.
masks? I didn't see masks.
They made an exception, I'm sure.
Because they figured out that people attending football games cannot possibly spread COVID.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe
They followed the science.
but you can in schools.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Oh,
catastrophic.
I
in
get it.
restaurants.
It's
Until you
kind
sit
of
down,
like
then you can take them off.
it's kind of like diplomatic immunity.
when you're at the table,
Yes.
there's like this invisible barrier that goes.
All right, so basically, it's an embassy
Embassy.
separate from the rules of California.
Oh, like immunity.
Yeah,
Basically,
Diplomatic
because
immunity.
because there was talk.
What is it, Game of Thrones?
Yes,
No, it
because there
was-
was talk.
That was not
of,
Lethal Weapon.
that was Lethal Weapon.
no, it was horrible.
Diplomatic immunity.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Because there was
All
talk
right.
about a month ago
Isn't
that
there music that needs to turn on now?
if California or LA didn't change their rules, they were thinking about moving the Super Bowl to AT&T Stadium here in Dallas.
If they didn't change it, about masks,
About mass and the amount of people that can attend.
and there's more hypocrisy.
Yeah, so they
I mean,
made
if it's
their
about
changes.
saving lives,
No, it's about
really?
making money. It's about making money.
Shut the hell up. Okay.
So that was about a month out, and they were like, "We need to make a decision. LA, are you going to change for the Super Bowl, or
Yep.
are we going to move it?"
Yep.
And they changed. They changed.
All right,
the
I'm going to go
policy.
into the last topic, which I think is riveting. Bob Saget. Remember how he passed away?
No, he's on my death list.
I know. Well, hold on. There's really weird circumstances about his death.
Well, he fell, didn't he?
Yeah. So multiple coroners have been evaluating his coroner report, and it was catastrophic head trauma. It's
Well-
not something you just fall down and bump your head and go to bed because, ooh, wow,
what do they
I
think?
feel
That's not
Someone beat
dizzy.
him?
true.
They're
That's,
saying it's the equivalent of a car wreck or a bat to the head.
no.
But if he
What in the hell
if
are
he
they
slipped-
trying to hide here?
if he slipped in the bathroom and he fell and hit his head on the toilet or the edge of the toilet or
Yeah.
the sink, that
Yeah.
would do it.
Yeah, but
Then
he
you wake up, you're like, "Fuck."
No,
And then
no,
you lay
no,
down.
no, 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 no. There's no wake up and say fuck. It's crawl to the phone 911.
Well, not if you're knocked out.
So he was crawling to the phone.
And
No,
maybe,
he
maybe,
didn't.
Maybe he
Dude,
laid.
look.
They found him on the bed
Hey, yeah.
in the supine position.
What?
Supine?
Oh,
Yes.
so what he did is he fell down.
Supine.
What the hell is supine?
Well, it's similar to
laying
the
flat. Come on.
supine. Is that like?
No,
I was
Is that
thinking.
missionary by yourself?
no, it's laying there. Supine. Google supine.
What the hell is supine?
The
I've never-
supine position.
Is that a sex position?
No.
By yourself?
Supine position.
Why do you
Like that.
Why do
Laying
you
flat
know-
on your back.
Why can't you just say laying flat?
Again, why
Because
do you
it's one
know
word.
why do you know shit like this? I don't
Supine
understand.
is specifically with your feet up, head up. That's how I sleep at night.
Yeah, so you're in the supine position.
So you're in the doctor's office going, oh, you know what? I was sleeping in the supine position, doctor.
Well, I need
And-
you to get in the
And they go,
prone.
I'm impressed.
Please
No
get
one's
in the
ever said that
prone.
word in my office before. Why would you know that word?
Why don't you know it? I don't know.
Mr. Jeff, before you get into the prone position, please remove your panties.
Hold on, is this an SAT vocabulary?
No.
I don't get it. I
No.
don't get you.
See, the prone and the supine.
That's what happens when you're a product of
Prone?
your books you read.
When
So
you're on
that's
your
what I'm going to say
stomach.
to my wife. Honey, get in the prone position. You're mine tonight.
Right.
for the next 2 minutes.
You're mine.
Prone. So if anybody's wondering, prone is laying face down with your head to the side, I guess.
With your head in the
Otherwise,
pillow.
you'll like
Prone,
suffocate.
prone is with your head in the pillow.
And supine is with you're laying
It's
on your back
missionary on top.
and you're staring at the ceiling, wondering, is she going to make a move?
So what
or
is it
not?
called when you're in the supine position and your legs are up in the air? Is that what you called the
LeBron.
The
death stroke or something like that?
That's called deep strike.
Deep strike. All right. So
Yeah, that's deep strike.
deep strike is when you're in supine position with your your heels
Hold on,
behind
you
your
can't combine
ears.
positions. When you're on your back with your feet behind your ears, it's deep strike.
Oh God!
I
But
don't know.
I see where that's going though.
Yes.
Yes, I've
So
done the
that's how
deep
they-
strike many times.
Yes. That's how, because you can get deeper. That's how they found Bob Saget
good
on the
Lord.
bed,
Supine.
in the supine position.
Well, maybe
So,
somebody hit him with a bat and then they put him on the bed.
could be. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
won't-
what the hell?
Yeah, but I only went halfway in.
What?
What?
Just the
Into
tip?
Bob Saget?
Whoa, easy. So no.
Because he was in deep strike.
So, but what are you talking about? So he got hit in the head.
Who wants to kill Bob
I'm
Saget?
just saying his head was like in bad shape.
That's
So
what I mean.
he
had,
fell
he
down.
had bleeding across both sides of his brain. The significance of his injuries has complicated the picture of his death. I'm telling you.
What are you saying? He was murdered?
I think he was murdered.
Oh, well, do you think the Olsen twins went after him to sexually harass them as children?
I don't know. I mean,
Yes.
it's strange.
They
It's definitely
fucking
strange.
Double teamed him and
I'm
beat.
just saying.
smashed his
There's,
head into a
there's
pulp.
something weird about the whole thing.
But he could have fallen, slipped, hit his
Well,
head.
he's 65 years old.
and then crawled onto the bed into supine
and probably
position.
went, fuck, and then died.
Did
Yes, he could have.
Yeah, I guess it's possible.
I mean, I don't know.
It's just
So we'll
very
have to find-
odd.
So give it 6 months. It'll take a long time for him to figure all this out.
Man, you have seen all kinds. I just watched a TikTok of a woman. Do you know how Taylor? You have long hair. Austin, you have long hair. If you want to take your hair and throw it back, some people will bring their head down really forward fast, and then throw their head back.
Yeah, it's like a whiplash.
I saw
A
a
hair
TikTok of this lady, and she hit her head
Oh,
on
no.
a bathroom granite countertop.
Oh no!
And
Did it knock her out?
no, but you heard they have a little audio overlay, and when she comes down, you hear the dunk, and you hear these monks in the background. Ola nia wole.
It's not good.
It's not.
That
But
was
my point,
painful.
my point is that
Maybe he did
Um,
that. Maybe he was like headbanging.
people
Maybe he
can
was.
do things, and you
In
know
private?
shit happens. He's in a hotel. I mean, he could have got out of a hot bath, hot shower, blacked out, fell down and fucked his face up, and then woke up and then climbed on the couch.
Well, I
and
mean, it was like the
or
kung
bed
fu
died.
guy in Thailand. He was asphyxiating himself, and
auto asphyxia.
yeah, he was.
I'm trying to
he was-
capitalize on that ejaculation.
He was pleasuring
That
himself,
auto-
and something went wrong, and
Went a
he
little too
strangled
far.
himself.
Yeah,
That is not the first time that's happened.
No.
yeah.
Michael Hutchins, In Excess, lead singer.
Wow.
You know what? You said that. I still didn't register that he didn't commit suicide.
No.
They're saying he did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to he's trying to whack
reach,
to the
he's
80s
reach
and
that level.
Wow.
yeah,
Huh.
pass.
Not worth it.
I'm going to pass too.
It's not worth
Yeah.
it.
Are you a hard pass as well, Jeff?
I'm a hard pass.
Okay,
Yeah.
so none of us are going to die from erotic asphyxiation.
No.
I'm glad to hear
However,
Autoerotic, I think it's called.
that. Okay, sorry, I said it
Sorry.
wrong.
maybe
I'm going to be in the supine position, or
if
supine, or whatever.
I mean, were these guys alone?
whatever the hell it?
Yes.
Yes, that's the whole
Okay.
point. Nobody was there to save them.
Well, that's so. I'm thinking, well, maybe I would try it if someone were there with me.
Oh,
Like if they were choking you.
I'm not. I'm not into choking.
Well, it's the same thing, isn't it?
The hell, you look like you were choking a baby Yoda. What the fuck is going on?
Choking
You
and
got
like
Joe Pesci in your
putting
lap? What's
your,
going on?
putting your neck in a noose.
I'm
is the
just trying to
same
think
thing.
how awkward that conversation would be. Hey guys, I'm going to do that erotic asphyxiation thing tonight. Do you guys mind hanging out with me while I do that in case something goes wrong?
Can you watch me? Make sure nothing happens.
Yeah. That would be.
I'll pass.
I'm
It's a
gonna
hard
pass.
pass.
Yeah, don't ask me, Sean, because I'm gonna find that awkward. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, pass.
Okay, so you can't rely on us.
Well, still,
You get your dogs in there
I
with
mean,
you.
I don't really want to do it, but I mean, if you're thinking about orgasms, and if you're
Mine
like
are fine-
gonna
mine are
be
fine
the,
enough.
I mean,
Mine
look,
are, mine are pretty good too.
well, I mean, but what if you found out? It's kind of
Yeah,
like
well,
That
I will never find out unless it's by accident.
if like you're eating a steak and it's with salt and pepper, and then the day you find out that they came up with A1 sauce, you're kind of like, what the fuck have I been doing my entire life?
I don't care if it went A1.
Well, what's something you do
so
like?
missing the point.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Oh,
You know,
My goodness.
it's like
It's about chasing the ultimate
you grow up
orgasm.
in the
I'm with him on
70s
this
and
one.
80s,
Hold on.
Sauce
and you
and
got these
orgasm.
windows, and
Yeah.
you got the hand crank, and you're like, trying to, winding the fucking crank to get the window up and down. All of a sudden, they've got electric windows, which is still great. It's fantastic. But
So-
then all of a sudden, they have the auto
So you're saying
edition,
So you're
where
saying
you just push
near,
it once.
near
Hold on.
death orgasm is like auto windows?
No, I'm just saying
well,
you don't know.
I have another analogy.
You
Remember
don't know
they
until you
bought-
tried it.
Remember
Well,
when
then
they
you
used
should
to buy
try it.
bread that was not sliced?
Yeah, but then you can make it your own thickness.
Now you can buy sliced bread.
Point taken.
So there you go. That's the same analogy to chasing the ultimate
That's
orgasm.
a weak analogy, though.
Well,
No, they say this is like greatest things in sliced bread.
Well, I know, but sometimes you want a thicker piece.
well,
You can
I-
slice your own
They
bread.
say nothing's greater
I'm
than
trying to
sliced
convince
bread.
the wife. I'm just like, look, anal's better.
It's just
It's supposed to be a better orgasm. She's not buying into it though.
you should offer to see if it's more important for you. Yeah,
Well, you
So-
want me to wear the butt plug?
yeah. Just say, hey,
in the
it
supine,
works.
in the supine deep
All right,
strike
so
position.
I'll go buy a butt plug, and I'm
Say,
gonna.
honey, I'll try it first.
I'm not getting the one like you have. You have this huge one that takes these deep sized batteries. I want like
Oh,
the
that's
small
fantastic.
Yeah.
Good for you.
one. I want
It
the very.
rotates like this.
It's like Naked Gun. Remember he starts it. Remember he. It's like what is it like? It's
like
like a
rotating.
yeah. It's like he
Wow.
pulls the cord
God.
and the thing was.
And it's ribbed.
Oh, that was hilarious.
All right, dudes like us. Thanks for enduring this. I'm Sean.
Yeah, that was painful. I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
We'll be back in a minute.
All right.
We're gonna refresh.